Greetings, everyone. The Zimbabwe Revenue Authority has issued a public notice advising holders of the Zimbabwe exemption permits about the goods that they can take back to Zimbabwe duty free. That is, if they are no longer renewing their permits. This notice is not for every holder of a Zimbabwe exemption permit who wants to move to another visa, but those that want to return back to Zimbabwe, who are known as returning residents. The background to this is that according to the South African government, the ZEP grace period will expire on the 31st of December 2023. But of course, as you know, we've been discussing the court case in this channel. But if you do not want to move to another visa, but you want to go back to Zimbabwe, these are the conditions in terms of what goods can you take to Zimbabwe duty free. So it says that in terms of this arrangement, the following goods will be imported duty free. 1. Personal goods. These are goods the returning resident has been using. For example, clothes, furniture, kitchen utensils, and other general household goods. 2. Vehicles are to be cleared under the suspension of duty as provided for in statutory instrument 10 of 2022, which has the following conditions. A. Only VAT is payable. B. The vehicle should have been owned by the returning resident 6 months prior to returning to Zimbabwe. 3. The value of the vehicle must be less than $40,000. Food items for personal use shall be allowed duty-free, subject to import controls and the limits imposed under the traveler's rebate. No food items for commercial purposes shall be allowed. If you decide to go and set up your spaza shop in Mbare or Makwekwe, you are not allowed to carry those. You then have to pay a duty on your commercial goods that you are taking to Zimbabwe. It says if you have animals like cattle, goats, and agricultural products like grain in bulk, this will require a permit or clearance from the Ministry of Agriculture. So if you have been keeping some cattle, you had a small plot, some cattle or goats, which you want to take back to Zimbabwe as a returning resident, you need to contact the Ministry of Agriculture for them to issue you with a permit. It says pre-owned goods of a capital or commercial nature, which were being used by the ZEP holder for business, are to be imported duty-free. These include goods like computers, furniture, equipment that was being used for business. The ZEP holder must provide that he or she owned the goods, that the goods have been used exclusively for business. Then the following conditions must be met at the time of importation. The goods must be owned by the returning resident at the time of the arrival and at the time of their importation. The goods must be for use in Zimbabwe by the returning resident. The goods must be imported at the time of arrival of the returning resident or at such time as the Commissioner may, in his discretion, approve. In order to be considered for this rebate of duty, the returnee must present the following documents: a copy of the ZEP permit, proof that one has terminated a contract of employment for a person who has been on contract of employment, proof of absence from Zimbabwe for a person who has been on an extended absence from Zimbabwe, a declaration on prescribed form stating that the effects and other goods were owned by the returning resident at the time of arrival and at their time of importation, A declaration stating that no rebate of duty has been granted to him or her in respect of any goods during the previous 4 years. A declaration that the goods are intended for the returning resident's own use in Zimbabwe. A written undertaking that the goods will not be sold or disposed of in any manner. A written undertaking to pay such duty as may become due if one decides to sell or dispose of in any manner, or if he or she decides to leave Zimbabwe for a period of more than 6 months within 24 months of clearance. We spoke about the 24 months in the last video. Satisfactory evidence relating to the accusation, ownership or purchase of the goods. So these are the goods that those that wish to return to Zimbabwe, or holders of the Zimbabwe exemption permit, are required to carry without paying duty. And the conditions attached that if you will live in Zimbabwe for 24 months, you will have no problems. But if you take your goods, apply for duty-free, you take your goods, then in 2 months you are in the UK, then your goods are going to be confiscated by the state, or you'll be asked to pay duty for those goods, failure to which you then know that they'll be confiscated, including your vehicle. If you need more information on this, please contact the Zimbabwe consulate or the embassy. They are available on Facebook and other social media platforms. They will give you more information and assist you. Maybe you might want to provide them with a list of your goods that you want to take back to Zimbabwe upon your return as a returning resident. They are going to assist you. Please write in the comment section, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're on TikTok, please do follow us. I am Nicholas Mabena.